Hello and welcome to Nightly Scroll. Happy Wednesday evening. Yeah. Wow. Halfway through the week. Very exciting. Got a big show on deck. I want to remind everyone, I've been chatting with everyone in the chat on Rumble before the show starts. You got to do that on Rumble. Rumble's the only place you can watch the show. If you want to join everyone at 6 p.m. Eastern time, rumble.com/Haley is where you can go, join everyone, and be a part of the show. If you want to watch later on, you could do that. Apple Podcasts, Spotify is where you can listen after the show goes live. Feel free to do that. Feel free to follow me on social media at Haley Karania on all platforms. Let's get into today's show. Biden's White House physician, Kevin O'Connor, refused to testify on Capitol Hill today. Not a good look if you don't want the entire country to think you're a liar. But I guess he took that route instead of lying under oath. Plus, attacks on ICE agents are up a whopping 700%, and the mainstream media is making matters worse. Bill Maher is still defending the efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine. It's 2025. I don't know where he's been. All the stats, everything, he's just ignoring all of it. Then the Kamala Harris interview that never made air because her team and the show creator mutually agreed that the interview made her look really bad. It's going to be a fun show. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. All right, this was the Politico headline from this morning. Remember yesterday on the show, I said, we'll see if Kevin O'Connor goes, the White House physician, Biden's White House physician, goes and testifies. He was supposed to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee today. And he went, but he declined to cooperate in the GOP probe of former president's mental fitness. So again, I told you yesterday he tried to delay this. Kevin O'Connor tried to delay this to late July or even August, claiming that he would have to make sure that they could do this in a way that would honor Biden's privacy and the doctor-client privilege. And James Comer, Congressman James Comer, said, buddy, you better show up tomorrow. So he did. Kevin O'Connor showed up, but he left after an hour. Here are the questions that they got to, according to James Comer. Were you ever told to lie about the president's health? He pleaded the fifth. The other question, did you ever believe President Biden was unfit to execute his duties? He pleaded the fifth. So Kevin O'Connor's attorneys, he said that he declined to answer the lawmakers' questions because of, again, this doctor-patient privilege and his rights under the Fifth Amendment. And his attorneys gave a statement to the House Oversight Committee earlier today and said the circumstances surrounding this committee's investigation leave Dr. O'Connor no choice but to decline to answer questions. What do you mean no choice? I think these are questions that are valid. The American people need to know them, and they have nothing to do with patient-client privilege. This is about a scheme and a cover-up that he could have been a part of. I can understand pleading the fifth because you don't want to incriminate yourself if lying under oath. I don't know. I think he just didn't want to lie under oath. But his attorneys wanted to let everyone know that pleading the fifth does not imply that Dr. O'Connor has committed any crime, which is true. But if you can't answer these basic questions, then we can only assume what the answer is. Not answering the question, were you ever told to lie about Biden's health, should be a very easy no if he didn't. That doesn't have anything to do with Biden's health or anything that should be private. That is answering the question, did someone tell you to lie? And he refused to answer that question. And Dr. O'Connor said that the president was fit for duty. He published physician reports throughout Biden's presidency saying he was fit to hold the office of the presidency. So why would he be unwilling under oath to defend those reports if he was telling the truth? Again, this confirms what we already knew. The Bidens were holding on to power for dear life. And Dr. Kevin O'Connor was their family friend. So he's their buddy who was willing to run cover so that the White House and the Democrat Party could push the lie that Biden was totally fine in office, which everyone with eyeballs knew that he was not. I'm not surprised. This is the same administration that lied to the American people about the safety and efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccines. They created a misinformation board to silence and censor anyone who dared disagree with their diagnoses. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was verbally abused by Biden's staff. He said that they yelled at him to take down certain memes and other posts about COVID that made the Biden administration look bad, even if people were just questioning their stances on COVID and their response to COVID. You should be able to do that in this country, but no, not under the Biden administration. So they're big on covering up and censoring. This is what they do. But Congressman James Comer confirmed earlier today that the Oversight Committee is still determined to call on other members of the Biden administration so that the American people can get the answers we deserve. Will they just plead the fifth as well? It's very clear that the Biden administration was run by liars. I want to get into these anti-ICE activists. We can pull up this post from earlier. This is about, well, this is very small. If we could zoom in, then I'll read it for you all. This is Border Patrol Chief Agent Gregory Bovino, and he posted about these 4 disgusting individuals who were arrested. They're facing charges for placing homemade tire spikes in front of law enforcement vehicles. And he said, anyone who interferes with our lawful mission will be arrested. So they have arrested these people. And again, you know my policy on this show. I don't read the names of these morons because I don't like giving them the clout that they want. But I was taken aback by their ages. 54 years old, 28 years old, 30 years old, and 43 years old. This is the kind of shenanigans that I would expect. Like when I read this at first, not looking at the ages, I thought, well, this is something that dumb kids would do. Maybe like 20-year-olds, 22, 23-year-olds. Someone in the chat just said Haley Gecko. Is he here? Did he make an appearance? Don't scare me like that.
You're getting catfished or by somebody.
Gaslit. I'm getting gaslit. Don't do that to me. We haven't seen him, by the way. We haven't seen the lizard that was in the studio. So maybe he just went on his merry way. I don't know. But don't you think, putting tire spikes in front of the tires of law enforcement agents' vehicles, to me, I just thought this has to be some dumb kids. 54 years old. Grow up.
It was 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Right.
It covers the whole thing.
The whole thing. It's just, to me, that was shocking. It doesn't matter how old you are, by the way. This is a crime, and obviously they're arrested. But that was shocking to me. 40 years old, 50 years old. Totally insane to me. And, Axios was also reporting that ICE is being accused of racial profiling when conducting the detention of illegal aliens. And DHS posted this in response. Any claims that individuals have been targeted by law enforcement because of their skin color are disgusting and categorically false. This kind of garbage has led to the nearly 700% increase in assaults on our brave ICE enforcement agents, which is crazy because I've been repeating the statistic that it was more than 400%. This was before the raids in Los Angeles. Attacks on ICE officers were 400%. And then after the ICE raids in LA and all of the unrest there, it was obviously more than 400%, jumped to 700%. That's insane. And then you see the attacks. They're putting tire spikes in front of their cars. People are trying to deter ICE from doing their job. And then you have the mainstream media reporting that ICE is essentially being racist. That does not help the situation. That does not help the situation. They're doing their jobs. Then you have people in the mainstream media contributing to this hatred when it's not true. I have played videos and showed pictures on this show of DHS and ICE agents deporting white people who can't be here. This is not about skin color. This is about you not following the law and then getting kicked out when you break the law. That's it. So shame on the mainstream media for putting ICE agents in even more danger than they already are. It's disgusting. I want to go into this RFK Jr. video. RFK Jr. was on Bill Maher's show, and they were talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. Listen to this.
There's 25% of Americans who believe that they know somebody who was killed by a COVID vaccine.
Killed?
Killed. 25% of Americans, 52% of Americans believe that the vaccines are causing injuries, including death. 52%. Oh, if you look at the clinical trial studies, the actual studies that were done that were released of the Pfizer vaccine, Moderna has not released it. If you look at the Pfizer vaccine, there were 22,000 people in the placebo group, 22,000 people who got the actual vaccine. And the people who got the vaccine had a 23% higher death rate from all causes at the end of that study.
But that could not be the disease itself?
No, well,
because we know that
if it is, then the vaccine doesn't work, does it?
Well, it's certainly. Well, no, that's not. That's.
So this was from April, by the way. This video is from April. The interview was in April, and I just saw it for the first time. And this came up on my feed today, so I wanted to talk about it. Bill's reaction is very telling when RFK Jr. says, well, if people are getting sick, then the vaccine didn't work. And he just starts getting all squirrely, can't help but continue to defend the COVID-19 vaccine's efficacy. It's insane. Totally insane.
I can identify with what RFK is saying, especially now, even a year later, more information has come out, and we know the correlation between the sicknesses post-COVID vaccine and friends that the people who have had it. And so, I mean, RFK is an attorney, and he approaches this with facts like an attorney. And so it doesn't set up well for Bill Maher to combat that. And so this is why this has stayed relevant.
That's why you always have to come with the facts. You always have to come with the statistics, because Bill Maher is not going to know this off the top of his head. I mean, maybe he has a producer in his ear that can like quickly look it up and fact check in the moment. But for the most part, you got to just, when you have the facts on your side, it's the most lethal weapon ever. And that was what we saw right here. And if you look at the studies, you know, that were done on this Pfizer vaccine that RFK Jr. was talking about, that people who got the vaccine had a 23% higher death rate from all causes at the end of that study. That's wild. And remember, Moderna didn't release their stats. So not only did it not work, you could be worse off than you would be if you never took it at all. And think about the respirators. The NIH did a study back in 2022 on the likelihood of the survival if a COVID-19 patient, because a lot of these COVID-19 patients were having trouble breathing, they were having lung failure. So the likelihood of survival of a COVID-19 patient who underwent CPR and needed a respirator, they studied 230 patients. 75% of those 230 were intubated. 4 patients died. I'm sorry, 4 patients survived. Not 4%, 4 patients survived being intubated. And level-headed conspiracy theorists, as they called us, were warning the entire time that the cure can't be worse than the disease. We knew the entire time that their prescription for the country was bull. All of the made-up guidelines that they pulled straight out of their behinds, and morons believed them. I was living in New York City at the time, you all know this, but Mayor Bill de Blasio at the time put in a 10 p.m. curfew as if COVID just goes to sleep at night and we're all just supposed to go inside and no one will get COVID, even though we can all walk around during the day. So insane. And bars and restaurants were closed anyway. So it's like, I can't go for a walk at 10:01 p.m. because I might get COVID. Stupid. Do you guys remember masks on airplanes, but you could take them off if you were eating or drinking? I mean, are you joking? And then I know, I guess I traveled on airplanes during COVID, certainly. I don't remember.
I was on a flight with one person on it from regional airport in Northeast Tennessee to Charlotte. One person on it, and the flight attendant came all the way back there, and he was a retired Army veteran, and he just opened up the bar on the push cart, and we sat and just chatted for an hour. It was just he and I, but it costs more money.
Did
to
you
keep
have
the
to wear
planes.
your mask
No,
because you were drinking the whole time?
I don't think there was anybody there to complain.
Yeah, that's so true.
And there were, drinking the whole time.
Yeah, because people were getting hauled off planes and yelled at for not wearing a mask. So I must have warned them. I don't remember. Actually, I remember going to Mexico for my friend's bachelorette, and I remember not wearing a mask, but I could see it was almost like the end of that era where like half people were, half people weren't. They'd give you a dirty look if you were not wearing one. And I just thought, I mean, this is ridiculous. And I think that was in 2022. Oh no, 2021 maybe. Anyway, just insane. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm talking about COVID. It gets me so riled up. I don't care how long it's been. I'm never going to get over it. I find these things so insane that we went through them, and just proof of how much the government hates us. And they're so stupid, and they make you do these things, and they make you listen, and they want you to be compliant. And when you're not compliant, they throw you in jail. It's just, it makes me so angry. Like, I'm just not over it. The amount of people, and I'm sure everyone in the chat, remember Christmases? Like, I spent Christmases alone. It was just so disgusting what they were doing over a cold. And again, some people were very severely impacted by this. A lot of people died. Those are a very specific group of people. I was very young. I think I was 22, 23 when COVID started. I was fine. I had COVID multiple times, and I was fine. The first time I got it, it was worse. I think that was the first, whatever the first wave was. I forget what it was called, Delta or something. I remember that kind of knocked me on my ass. And then after that, every other time, it was fine. I never lost sense of smell. I felt totally fine. Like, I tested positive because when I was working at Fox and Newsmax during COVID, we had to go into the office every day. They would make us test every single day, which is just insane. I mean, who knows what kind of brain damage I have from those tests. They would go like all the way up.
The reason your ice story and COVID connects is because of this quote. It's the great challenge of life. Knowing enough to think you are right, but not knowing enough to know you're wrong. And that's what, people could Bill Maher in that segment. Well, I think I'm right. You know what I mean? But he didn't know. He didn't know the
Right.
facts. People are putting road spikes down but they're not. Obrego Garcia is a Maryland man. Well, no, he's not. You don't know the facts.
Right. And they
but you
are
know enough
so-
about it to have a conversation from social media, but you don't know enough about it to know that you're wrong. Shut up.
Right. And they're so just adamant about defending their viewpoints when they're so rooted in just, they're just wrong. Oh my gosh. It makes me so annoyed. All right, let's go into this Kamala Harris story. So apparently, as we know, and I talked about this on the show yesterday, I feel like there's a lot of connections to yesterday's show, but Kamala Harris was being told by people in her inner circle, Democrat donors and strategists and whoever was working on her campaign, that she should go on podcasts. And certainly it worked for Donald Trump. He went on the right podcasts. And quite frankly, Donald Trump is much more of a conversationalist, and he's much more personable than Kamala Harris is. Kamala Harris is not cool, and they tried to make fetch happen, and it didn't happen with her. But certainly they were trying to do the same thing as Trump was doing, but just in a different way. She went on the Call Her Daddy podcast. She was going to do Joe Rogan and then didn't, backed out, certain things. So it was a choice, right? And apparently Kamala Harris's team reached out to Subway Takes. Subway Takes is a creator. He is Kareem Rama is his name. He sits on the New York City subway. He has a Metro card, and there's a microphone attached to the Metro card, and he asks people about their hot takes, basically. So if you've never seen it before, here's an example with comedian Bill Burr. Watch.
What's your take?
When they get rid of all the illegals in this country, white billionaires will then magically become generous and start paying people a living wage because they inadvertently got rid of their excuse as to why they're not paying people.
100% disagree.
Okay.
Why would they all of a sudden start paying?
Because it's the illegal aliens' fault. That's why.
So what's the problem?
They need to come to this country the right way, the way my people came here.
On a boat?
Yeah, that's the way you do it.
You're pilgrim-blooded, right?
I think, yeah, you go back a couple generations. Yeah, my people had a belt buckle right on the front of their hat.
Turkey boys, Thanksgiving boys.
That was the name of their gang. They were the Turkey Boys, yeah.
I saw Bill Burr in Nashville. Well, it was outside of Nashville. It was a venue called the Cavern, I think it was called. And it's literally a concert venue inside of a cave. Very cool.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was so cool. If you could pull up a picture so people can see, I think it's called the Caverns. Just search the Caverns, Tennessee. But it was so, so cool. And of course, they take your phones and everything, so I don't have any photos myself, but I'm assuming. Anyway, so that's an example of Subway Takes. So Kamala Harris, she and her team were gung-ho to do Subway Takes. And this is also, by the way, not a new story. Kareem Rama, so this is the inside of the Cavern where I saw Bill Burr. How cool is that? And I was front row. Very, very cool venue. So you can all see where I saw Bill Burr. But anyway, so Kareem Rama is the host of Subway Takes. This is a TikTok show, social media show. He has 1 million+ followers on TikTok, very popular. And this is also not a new story. He had done an interview with the New York Times closer to around the election where he admitted that this never made air, but this has resurfaced because the host brought it up in another interview with Forbes in April, and it's just now getting attention. So all of these interviews, like the one that took place with Bill Burr, and also he interviews random people on the subway too. It's not just famous people. And all of these interviews take place on the New York City subway. Well, Kamala Harris's team said the Secret Service would not allow her on the New York City subway, so they had to go to Cleveland or some other city in Ohio to do this, but it was not on a subway. So it kind of defeats the entire purpose of the interview. It's weird to do Subway Takes with a Metro card and you're in Cleveland. Just bizarre. But this is how the Harris team did, right? They were trying to tell Joe Rogan, we're not going to come to Austin, Texas. You're going to come to us. And he's like, hell no. So this is what they were doing. They were trying to shake down all these podcasts and, make them bend to their demands. And anyway, this is how this all went down. So the host of Subway Takes explained that he had a conversation with Harris's team about what her hot take would be ahead of time. And they were going to do this with Tim Walz as well. So they had a conversation and they were planning out what the take was. And ironically enough, with the news that we're going to get to in a little bit about TSA and taking your shoes off at the airport, Kamala Harris's take was supposed to be about when people take your shoes off on airplanes, like not during security, but once you're on an airplane, her take was you should leave your shoes on, which I agree with. But she totally pulled an audible. So that was supposed to be her take, but she went to do the interview and she said, bacon is a spice. That was Kamala Harris's hot take. Bacon is a spice.
Say that again. Like oregano?
That's what she's trying to say. You can use bacon as a spice to cook with. You can definitely spice up a dish with bacon, but it's not a spice.
From East Tennessee, bacon is like an overlay. Like it's applicable to anything.
Yeah.
But it's not a spice.
No. So
It's not a cooking spice.
this is obviously a horrible take. And Kareem Rama said to them, this is a really bad take and it makes no sense, which is totally true. I give him a lot of credit for being like, this sucks. And he said it was really awkward too, because he couldn't add to the conversation because he doesn't eat bacon for religious reasons. So it's not even like he could go back and forth being like, I agree, I disagree. The entire purpose, Justin's laughing, but the entire purpose of this hot take is you have a conversation with him back and forth. The videos are not just, my hot take is this, okay, bye. He says, I agree or I disagree, and then they talk about it and they defend their hot take. So he was like, this, first of all, is a horrible take. Plus, I can't even talk about it with you. So anyway, here's a video of Kareem Rama explaining this back and forth and how this all went down with Harris's team and how they both decided to not air this interview. Watch this.
I think research group said this makes you look rich and snobby.
Okay.
And you need to appeal to the American people. So she went with the bacon. And I tried to pause the interview and say, trust me, we shouldn't do the bacon thing. And I was overrided by this guy who was maybe her deputy campaign manager or something.
Okay.
He said, we're doing bacon. I said, all right, we'll do bacon. And then an hour later, I got a call that said, we can't do bacon. I said, I know you can't do bacon. But then I tried to cut it into something else.
Okay.
It just wasn't working. And I was like, you know
So
what?
they overrode the bacon themselves.
First they rode the bacon, then they overrode the bacon. Then
Okay.
I tried to override their override by saying, I didn't just do all this work for no reason. I'm going to make it work. And
Yeah.
then I did make it work. And then they were like, this makes her look. And I said, whose fault is that? And then I was like, if I post this, a lot of people are going to be mad at me. If I don't post it, I still have a cool president, or I still have a cool photograph with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and a good story.
So I took the photo and the story, and I'm really lucky that I did that.
He went on to say that it was so bad. He was actually relieved that they called and said, we can't do this, because he said they would have blamed me personally for Kamala losing the election. He said it was that bad, which
I kind of want to see it now.
I know, me too, which just
Release it.
Which just goes to show how contrived Kamala Harris's persona was and still is, but certainly they tried to whip her up and put lipstick on a pig for the campaign. They were trying to make her, she had a whole different internet persona. And I feel like on Trump's campaign, it was like, yeah, go be on Theo Von's podcast. Go do something with Aiden Ross. Go do something and just be yourself. I would find it hard to believe if Trump's campaign was like, you know, they're obviously going to step in and be like, this is off limits, blah, blah, blah. Here are some ground rules. But they're not trying to like give him a personality. He's got that in the back.
He's so consistent, and they can allow him to take chances with the media, especially some of this new media, because his personality is not, it is what it is.
Right.
That gets him in trouble, and sometimes it's hilarious and funny. But like, she is not compatible with that
No.
interface.
No, not at all. You have to be personable. You have to be yourself. And all she knows how to do is cackle and not answer questions. And this is another thing, too, that I feel like people aren't talking about this with this whole situation. It's that he tried to turn the interview into something else. Did you catch that in the interview with Forbes? He was saying, you know, she did the bacon interview, was really bad, and I tried to turn it into something else. This is par for the course for Kamala Harris. A lot of people had to turn her answers into something else. It must have been so bad that CNN did it and whoever else did it. I mean, all of these 60 Minutes did it. So this seemed to be a trend where Kamala Harris sat down to do an interview and then everyone was like, this is so horrible. I have to fix this. And my question is, why fix it? Why fix it? Show the American people exactly how horrible she is. Again, this is like Biden being mentally unfit to hold the presidency. Like, these are things that everyone else knows, but it's people in the mainstream media that just keep doing the bidding of the Biden administration and of the DNC and the Democrats. And it's so embarrassing. And Kamala Harris had all these people in her ear telling her how to be authentic. That's icky. That's inauthentic. People can see right through it. So then I want to tell you about this because Tim Walz was supposed to do the hot take as well. Guess what Tim Walz's hot take was?
What's that?
That the most underrated part of home ownership and home maintenance is gutters.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep just then. What did you say?
Find me a
Wake
more
up.
milquetoast,
me up.
boring ass take. That's his hot take.
I mean, it could have been like, I like sheds. I mean, like, why is he?
These are the coldest takes I've ever heard in my life. Kamala Harris is plain stupid, and it doesn't make sense, which makes total sense in the same time because she's stupid and makes no sense. But Tim Walz, his hot take is that you need to take care of your gutters. These people could not put their two brain cells together and make a fake personality between the two of them.
I appreciate gutters overall for what they do, but it's not a hot take, I don't think.
If you had to come up with a hot take, what would it be?
Oh, I knew this was coming. About my house, about home ownership?
No, not about home
hot
ownership.
takes?
Just about anything. Like if you saw him on the subway and he came up to you and said, "What's your hot take?" I would say, you go first.
Pizza should not have pineapple on it.
No, you're wrong.
At all. It's already
Justin,
it's already a hot take.
Stop.
Well, I mean, it's a hot take. I'd probably still eat it.
This
if
is
I'm honest.
everyone's hot take, though. Everyone says that pineapple belongs on pizza or doesn't belong on pizza. Let me just settle this right quick because I'm a New Yorker, so I know pizza. Pineapple does not belong on pizza. I've tried it before. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting. Back me up in the chat. Back me up in the chat. See, people are saying no pineapple.
A match made in heaven.
You got a hot take off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think that the same way that you can get tickets for speeding or going too slow, slow walkers should be able to get tickets. If you're walking slow, this is because I used to live in New York City. You're running to work in Midtown Manhattan, and then you're walking because you're walking with a purpose because you have somewhere to be, and then there's a tourist like this. Move. You're on vacation. No one else is. Get to step in. So annoying. Oh my gosh. Or at least have the spatial awareness and the self-awareness to not stop when other people are walking behind you. Like, look around. Ugh. Anyway, that would be my hot take, which is good for New York. I think it would hit. People would agree with me.
I can see that being a real take.
People would agree with me. But anyway, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, very lucky that these didn't make air because I didn't think that they could be any less likable. But that's crazy. Bacon is a spice.
I'm still, bacon as a spice is like dumb. It's just overall dumb.
Yeah.
Tim Walz's fascination about the
Boring.
gutters is like,
So boring.
this is who this guy is.
And
Like, just what?
Kareem Rama said it was really, he was kind of shocked at how boring it was, but he said, I was also shocked at how passionate he was about it. So I'm actually interested to know why they didn't air Tim Walz's one. If his was usable and he was super passionate about it, Justin thinks it's because he was a sleeper. I agree. But you would think if you could get something good out of it, why not just do it with Tim Walz? Anyway, let's talk about TSA because the White House put out this tweet. This was yesterday. I was going to cover this yesterday and then we just ran out of time. So I wanted to get to it, but no, different one. The White House tweet about TSA. Do we have that one? Yeah, that one. Put yo dogs away, the White House says. This is the official White House account. Put yo dogs away. Trump admin ended the TSA shoes off policy, feet covered, air quality restored. Then President Trump posted, not President Trump, but the White House posted this on Instagram of him with the iconic gold sneakers. And it says airport TSA is dropping shoe removal policy. And DHS, which TSA is under, they posted this on X saying Operation Twinkle Toes. I can't believe these are the official accounts of the White House and DHS.
They're just hanging out in some break room.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the people that work on the White House social media team. They're awesome, but like they're my age. They're just like, dicking around, putting out this stuff. Put your dogs away on the main account. Put your dogs away. So let's talk about this because I haven't had to take my shoes off in years because I have TSA PreCheck, global entry, clear. I have everything. And people will get mad at me because people will say, oh, you're giving away your biometrics. Don't care. I hate security so much. I hate TSA so much. It gives me anxiety. I want to get through as fast as humanly possible. I will do whatever it takes to get through as humanly possible, fast as humanly possible. So yes, I don't even have to take out my ID. I have them scan my little eyeballs. I go to the front of the line, the TSA PreCheck line. I don't have to take my laptop out. Don't need to take my shoes off. I am in and out in 5 minutes. And here's another hot take. My ex-boyfriend and I were traveling. I had clear and TSA PreCheck. He did not. Did I wait for him? No. I pay for this. I pay for this.
We just waited at the gate for him. You might not have waited. I mean, you didn't get on the plane and the plane left him. I mean, you weren't vacating a day early.
No, but I hate security so much. I said up front, do you mind if I go through? Because I can't be waiting longer. Like it gives me a lot of anxiety. And he said, no, I'm totally fine with you leaving. He said, honestly, this is making me want to get TSA PreCheck and clear. And I said, you should.
It's not difficult to do, by the way.
No, it's not. It's really not. But I think they need to make this a harder club to get into because the TSA lines are getting way too long. The TSA PreCheck lines are looking like the general. A lot of the times, sometimes the general line is shorter than TSA PreCheck, and it's like, fine, I'll take my damn shoes off. But I haven't had to take my shoes off in a very long time. Anyone in the chat? Someone said, is that why you're single? I don't know. This is potentially. I don't think so. He was fine with it. But, I don't think that's mean. Someone said, yep, Haley, TSA PreCheck is worth it. Totally. And I actually think it should be more expensive so that it's more exclusive, in my opinion. Because it's getting too accessible to the masses, I think. That's my take. But let's talk about the shoes off on the airplane. Speaking about Kamala Harris's previous hot take that she didn't do, that's disgusting. I would never take my shoes off in an airplane, ever.
I wouldn't in an airplane, but like another one is like,
I don't even think I've seen
bad
anyone
boys.
do that. I know, those are the Trump sneakers.
I mean, does anybody know, even in the chat, anybody that has a pair of these kicks?
Yeah,
Would you rock these, Justin?
let us know if anyone knows.
No. Justin's saying no, but he hesitated. He thought about it.
I don't know anyone who has them. How many pairs did they have of those golden sneakers? I don't even remember. Not a lot.
They flew off the shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so fast.
Not a lot. They are kind of ugly. Like I where do you wear those other than to a Trump rally? They're a little much.
I'd make this show in those gold shoes.
Everyone in the chat is in agreement that you can't be taking your shoes off on an airplane. I've never seen someone do that. I've never seen someone do that. Yeah. So hopefully that's. Anyway, can we show this Tampa International Airport tweet? Because this made me laugh. Tampa International Airport posted, the TSA will now let you keep your shoes on through security at TPA. Then they have an asterisk underneath. Unless you're wearing Crocs, you should take those off and throw them away. That's a hot take, and I love it. I totally agree. I had a pair of Crocs in middle school, and I haven't had a pair of Crocs in adulthood. I had a lime green, or like a Kelly green, rather, pair of Crocs. And I know a lot of kids wear Crocs, but they are very unsightly, and I don't know why adults are wearing Crocs. Unless maybe they're your beach shoes or your gardening shoes or something.
If you're working on the gutters.
Yeah, if you're cleaning your gutters, you can wear Crocs. But other than that, don't be wearing them to the airport. and I agree with Tampa International. Then this guy on X was complaining about the no shoes thing. He's not for this. He says, I'm sorry, but TSA no longer requiring the removal of shoes for general screening after 29 years, and it's not 29, it's 20 years. This during this administration and the current state of the world makes me mad nervous. So nobody has, first of all, successfully gotten through with a shoe bomb. The shoe bomber was stopped. And then they created TSA. They created TSA in the same year. It was 2001. They created the no shoe rule in 2006. So 5 years after the shoe bomber was stopped, they created this rule. So stupid.
We were talking about this yesterday that a lot of regional airports don't even enforce it
Well, the
anyway.
rules
It's
change.
never consistent.
Yeah,
It's
the
never
rules change.
consistent.
There are jokes on TikTok. I should have thought about this because I knew that we were going to cover this, but I forgot. And people joke that the TSA agents are just screaming at you. They're screaming at you the rules. But the rules change. Not so much for TSA pre-check, but for the general line. Sometimes they want you to take your shoes off. Sometimes they don't. And they're like, leave it in the bag. Leave it in the
Laptop
bag.
out. Laptop
like,
out.
Laptop out. Or they're like, leave it. It's just like, oh my gosh, what? Don't yell at me. I'm just, and a lot of people, they act like it's their first day flying when they're at the airport. That's annoying. I will say it's not hard. It's not rocket science. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta keep it moving. I also get very annoyed. People are I feel like very quick to get their stuff on the plane, very slow to retrieve their bags from the overhead bin and leave. This is where we get to the final destination. We have places to go. Get your stuff down and go. I feel like I'm bitching and moaning today on the show.
That would be
I have so
my
many
hot take,
complaints.
is that as soon as the plane touches ground and remotely slows down, people begin standing up
Well,
to
that's
grab
annoying.
their overhead bags, even though they know they can't go anywhere.
Right.
That
is annoying.
That kills me.
But I think you have 20 seconds or less to get your bag and start moving. 20 seconds is probably too long. I'm going 15 seconds. You have 15 seconds to get your bag down and go. I would run a tight ship if I was a flight attendant. Like, get your stuff and go.
He's like the aircraft carrier guy signaling Tom Cruise to take off. Like, go this way.
Yeah. All right, I've got one very funny, cute story before we get into scrolling time. So I hope you all enjoy this as much as I did. Connecticut family cat found a lost lottery ticket worth $150,000, which is awesome. So this happened in mid-June, and Russell Ruff, a school bus driver in Connecticut, he purchased a Powerball ticket and then lost it. Didn't know where he put it. It was just like, I bought this lottery ticket. Oops, never gonna check to see if I won. So then their family cat got stuck behind the headboard of their bed. So they were trying to retrieve their family cat who was stuck. So they were, Russell, the school bus driver, and his son went to move the bed to find their cat. The cat was with the missing lottery ticket. And then they checked it and he won $150,000. Isn't that awesome?
Why doesn't stuff like that happen to me?
I was just going to say, I'm about to go home and say, Birdie, you better start pulling your weight around here. You don't pay rent. You don't win the lottery. Come on. All right, let's get into scrolling time. Someone said divine intervention. I would say feline intervention. Yeah. All right. I've got 2 pizza delivery videos to go through first. So first, this family orders pizza, and they have a Trump flag in front of their house. Here's how the delivery driver reacted to that. Watch. Throwing the pizza around like it's trash.
Should leave it in the rain.
If you didn't hear her, she said, I should leave this in the rain. Looks back at the Trump flag, looks back at the pizza on the ground, says, I should leave this in the rain. Because someone voted differently than you? Get a grip. get a grip to throw someone's pizza on the ground, and everyone's got a Ring camera now. So you have to be very careful. You have to act professionally. Maybe she did this because she thought she was alone. Maybe she saw the Ring camera and thought, let me put on a show. Maybe this will go viral. But it went viral for all the wrong reasons. You look intolerant and you look like a loser and you look like you're bad at your job and unprofessional. Rude. Could you imagine? And it's a cardboard box. Oh, I should leave this in the rain?
Okay, so if that's Domino's, do you call Domino's after you see that?
I don't know. I'm not a complainer.
I mean, she left the pizza in the rain.
I know. Well, she didn't. She said I should leave this pizza in the rain. She left it on the porch, but not before she threw it on the ground in a very rude manner. I'm not a complainer, so I don't know what I would do. I would certainly talk about it on the show. I would name her and shame her. I don't know. I'm not really big into cancel culture. Like, should she lose her job over it? She's an idiot, but she's,
That's a tough one for me, too. I don't know. I'd maybe go to Domino's with that Trump flag. See what happens. See if I can get a freebie.
What would you do, Justin?
I don't know. She literally can't do her job, so it's not my fault if she gets fired.
Yeah.
It was 4 more steps to get it to the door.
I know. Very rude. Very rude. Am I being soft by not complaining to Domino's?
I feel like you're being a little bit tougher on the tourists in New York City that want to look up at the Empire State Building, and you're coming through with a forearm shiver. I think it's like, let's even this out a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I'm being too nice. Maybe she deserves to lose her job. All right, this next pizza delivery video, this woman, she orders pizza. All of a sudden, cops are at her door. Watch this.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Yes.
So your Grubhub guy got arrested, so. What? Still deliver your pizza.
Well, I really appreciate the pizza.
It still should be.
Very much. Appreciate it. Take care. Happy 4th.
Thank you.
Who's eating pizza on the 4th of July? It's very Italian-American of them, which is fine. I'm eating hot dogs on the 4th of July. I'm eating hamburgers, cheeseburgers. I'm eating watermelon. There's a lot of things I'm eating on the 4th of July before I go for a pizza, and I do love pizza. Let's pull up the comments here on my iPad, if you don't mind. On me iPad. Someone said, your Grubhub guy got arrested, so... Someone said, I think cops look forward to doing this once in a lifetime. I would agree. I would agree with that. Is my thing not on? Did I not turn my iPad on? Sorry. Please hold. All right. Someone said it's like a side quest for them. I think a cop this would be the highlight of their day. They would go home to their family and say, I delivered a pizza today.
I mean, if this was sort of a misdemeanor kind of thing, and it was a non-violent, like let's just let's escort the guy to do one more good act.
What do you think he was arrested for?
Hits the slammer.
What do you think he was arrested for? Drugs?
Walking too slow on a sidewalk in New York City.
As he should. He was moving too slow. Get to stepping. Someone said serve and protect. That'd literally be the only time I'd answer my door for cops. Yeah. I would have asked them if they wanted a slice. She said, my biggest regret. Yeah. I've seen videos like this before of cops delivering the Grubhub driver, DoorDash driver, whoever getting arrested, Uber Eats. Do you think the guy is in the back of the car? Yeah, he must be. The guy is
That's what I was hoping is that he comes in, he rolls up to my house.
No, the Grubhub driver is
in the
sitting
back
in the back of the cop car. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even going to get a tip for this.
And he just two-handed cuffed. He sticks my pizza out of the back seat of the cop car window.
And this is great service, but if she tips, it's going to the guy in jail. It's not going to the cops who actually delivered it. You got to tip in cash. You got to have cash on you. Got to have cash on you.
I'm tipping the cop, Peace be with you.
Do you think they would accept it though? I don't think that they would.
Where I'm from, they would. They'd go straight, get a coffee, and hang out on my $5.
All right, let's go to the next video here. This is a tourism ad that Canada put out, and the comment section is just insane, but we'll get into that after we watch. Watch this. Nope, different one.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
This is the Instagram
And right
one.
now, you can save £50 per person. That's...
We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Bonjour, est-ce que je peux vous aider?
Sorry, I don't speak French. I'm just visiting.
Well, then welcome to Canada's Eastern Townships. Where are you visiting from?
I'm American.
Ah, okay.
She's reaching for the secret button. And then gives him a hug. And it says, come hug it out. Eastern Townships, Quebec, Canada. So here are some of the comments. I saw this BuzzFeed posted this. And someone in the comments said, thank you, Canada, for setting a better example of how one should treat their neighbors. This is probably all stemming from illegal immigration, right? And if you're visiting Canada, you can't overstay your welcome. They might welcome you to visit because visiting is not illegal. But if you overstay your welcome or your visa, guess what? There are consequences for those actions. I literally just came back from Canada yesterday. They treated us so well. We spent the entire weekend there. Everyone is so nice and helpful. We all need a hug. We got you, American friends. I could really use a Canadian hug right now. We have great neighbors. Mexico sent people to rescue Texans from floodwaters. Canada embraces us. We need to be a better friend and return the kindnesses. I think we're kind until you break our laws. This is just total BS. People are missing the point. They're missing the point. This is what I needed. We'll be there over Labor Day weekend. Last year we went to Montreal. This year, Quebec City is on our bucket list. I guess this person was reeled in by this ad. Wow. Aw, thank you to the anti-Trumpist for supporting our tourism. Do you think liberals are visiting Canada right now because of Trump? A lot of people say they're going to move to Canada and then they don't.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I don't know that. You think Trump's causing a tourist spike into Canada? I don't buy that.
I don't think so. I would like to go to Canada. Canada's on my bucket list, I would say. Beautiful. I want to go to Montreal.
Vancouver's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely want to go, but not because of this ad. Sorry. All right, last thing for you are these videos. We played a little teaser before, but there are two videos that show women, is chivalry dead? Women paddleboarding their husbands or their boyfriends. The women are rowing the boats. The women are paddleboarding. The men are the passenger princesses. Watch this.
Nothing beats a
So this is a
Jet2
woman.
holiday.
She's
and
on
right
a paddleboard.
now, you can save £50 per person.
And she's rowing
That's
while her
£200
boyfriend is
off for a
laying in the
family
back.
of four.
Not doing any of the work. And then here's the other one. This video, there's even more examples.
Nothing
There's
beats
the woman
a
and the man.
Jet2 holiday.
She's
and
rowing
right
her
now,
man around.
You can save £50 per person.
There's another
That's
woman
£200
rowing her man
off for a
around.
family of four.
There's another woman
We've
rowing
got
her man around.
millions of
Three.
Free child place holidays available with
3 in a
22
row. And if you see in the middle there was another boat and there was a dad sitting there, the kids rowing. The kids rowing the whole family. What is happening? What is happening here? And someone in the chat said they suck at rowing. Guess who should be driving? The men. And they're not. Why aren't they? This is crazy to me. This is totally crazy. I would say if I was in, this is a very cute date idea, I would say. I would expect the man to be rowing. I don't know. Is that crazy? I think men would prefer to row and men would prefer to drive. And I agree with that. I'm happy with that. I don't want to have to drive.
That was my next question, is that would you take the wheel and drive somewhere? Like on a date or whatever?
If I was with a man, man's driving. Even if it's my car, here's the keys. You're driving. People in the chat, kind of sexy, isn't it? No. People are saying maybe they identify as men. Maybe they're just identifying as the man in the relationship. But this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, the first one was hard to explain. That looks like open water. I mean, that's like yes. Definitely difficult. The second one looks like it's like you put a quarter in and paddle a boat around for a little bit.
And the guy on the paddleboard, he was laying down. He wasn't even paying attention. He was checked out. He was taking a nap, maybe. And his girlfriend is doing all the work. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he passed out and she's rowing to get him help. That is the only way.
Like he has personal injury happening?
That is the only way I let that fly. And the other one, I mean, you could just say, wow, this is crazy, one instance, right? But then 3 in a row, 3 in the same pond, all the men are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs on a date and the woman is driving the boat? The woman is rowing the boat?
Well, maybe that's in like Minnesota as like a leftist tourist attraction.
Yeah, I would. Where is this? What state is this in? Is it in a blue state?
Are you a lefty feminist? Come to this rowing pond. Yeah. Someone else will pay for your rowing.
And a lot of relationships now are 50-50, like the one we were talking about last night. This is 50% of the effort. This is I row, you row. If you row, I row. Someone in the chat just called me high maintenance because I think men should drive. How does that make me high maintenance? I'm conservative. Hello? That's not crazy take. I mean, I can row the boat, but I don't want to. I don't know, call me crazy. All right. That's all I have for tonight's show. Thank you so much for joining me. I had fun scrolling along with you. If you want to scroll with the homies in the chat, you got to do it on Rumble. Rumble.com/Haley's, where you can watch Nightly Scroll Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you can follow me on social media at Haley Carania on most platforms. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.